Hey everyone, this is Zoe Alexander from Simply Lovely Energy, and I'm here today to talk about how do you talk about law of attraction with people who just aren't interested in spirituality or any of that woo-woo stuff. So the first thing when wanting to have a conversation with someone about spirituality or spiritual subjects is to ask yourself why you want to have that conversation. And the reason that this is important is because oftentimes when we first discover this seemingly magical idea, you get really excited about it, and then you want to tell everybody so that they can get excited too. But the problem with this is that it's not acknowledging where people are at. And if you try to push through a conversation that someone doesn't want to have and they're not ready for it, you can actually push them away from the subject for a while. Like, you're on this frequency over here and they're on this frequency, and it's just not matching up, and you're just gonna annoy them. And the second part within that is taking a look at why you need them to think the same way that you do. Is it because you need them to be happy so that you can feel happier? That's something we very commonly get trapped in, is that if I could just enlighten this person and they see the light, then they'll be happy and they'll feel so much better and things will be better for them, and then I can feel better because they feel better. And that's just, sorry, they get to live their life. That's not the way that this works. But what you can do is focus on having really good interactions with that person and visualize having experiences in which they're really calm and excited. And what can happen with that is that you end up having really good interactions whenever you see them, even if they're normally cranky or bitter or otherwise. Or the second thing is that if they just don't have that anywhere within their current capacity, they'll just magically drift out of your life. So that's the first thing to think about. The second thing to think about when wanting to talk about spirituality is that you have to understand the person's lingo when trying to approach it. And you may want to use words like manifest or vibration, but if they're not going to understand that, or that's going to push them away, try using different words to get your point across. So for instance, my partner is not really into spirituality stuff. He's a pretty straight scientific guy. So I usually will frame law of attraction in terms of a growth mindset. So growth mindset is sort of a business psychology term that's you're a person that's open to more opportunities and takes initiative, and is willing to change. And I'll even say things that your reality is your perspective. So the optimist is happier than the pessimist because they see more opportunity and more of that's available to them. And you know what? He totally gets that. So framing law of attraction in terms of growth opportunity, I think, is a pretty growth mindset. Can be a pretty good way to explain it. And the last thing is that if you feel like you really need to have a spiritual conversation, like go find spiritual people that are already into it. Like, you don't need to make everybody in the world agree with you. That's giving your power away. So for instance, sometimes if I'm really stuck on manifestation things, I'll go to my best friend who's also into this woo vibrational stuff. And she's the person that I talk to, or I send a question out in spiritual life coaching groups that I'm a part of. And I recommend finding some of those. If you don't have any, it's really easy. If you just go on Facebook, you can type in like law of attraction group and a bunch will pop up. Or you can always message me too. I love to answer questions and would love to hear from everybody. My email is simplylovellyenergy2020@gmail.com. Or you can just comment on in the comment section below, and I'll get back to you there as well. And so the final thing is that if you really do want to talk about spirituality and explain things from your perspective to someone, which, for instance, I will do with my partner sometimes because I value being able to express how I really feel about things to him. And sometimes I can't explain everything from a growth mindset. Is that I just acknowledge that that's my perspective. I'll tell him, because of the beliefs that I have that you create your own reality, it seems apparent to me that my money blocks are the reason I'm not making money, and I'm having this really strong emotional reaction to whatever happened is because of these fears that I have, and I haven't manifested it. And he'll be like, okay, but he respects my opinion, and because I don't force him to try to have the same views as I do, it works out. Like, it works out really well. We come from a place of mutual respect. So that's the final thing that you can do. But again, with any sort of manifestation, always check yourself first and why you need this to happen, or if you need this to happen, or if it's something you want to happen. Because needing is powerlessness, and it's giving away your power, and that you need someone else to feel happy or do something the way that you do so that you can feel better. So that's it for today's video. This is my first video. I think it went pretty well, but you've also missed my 20 videos of me cursing at the camera because I'm nervous. But anyways, I hope you all have a great day. Let me know in the comments below what you learned or anything you have questions about. And with that, I bid you adieu. Happy manifesting.